you are like scared to death about going to events by yourself, and you're one of those people that you know who you are, like you just know who I'm talking to, whether it's, you know, you need to get out of the house more, whether it's, you know, maybe you're in a certain season of life where maybe all your friends are married or in relationships or have kids. Maybe you just genuinely, maybe you have kids and you're in a relationship, but you just want to be able to kind of have a social life, like whatever it is, you know who you are. I'm going to give you guys 3 powerful tips, okay, on what to do when you want to go to these events. You want to go to something. It doesn't even have to be like a big grandiose event. It could just be a gathering. It could be anything outside your house, but you don't really want to go by yourself. It's more of like a, oh my gosh, like I would have gone, but then I didn't have anyone to go with. Like if you've ever said that before, I would have gone, but I don't have anyone to go with. This video is actually for you. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks on how to go to these events confidently and not feel like you are out of place, that you feel lame, that you are feeling like whatever the feelings that come up. I'm going to help you eradicate them right now. So number one, if you go to an event, every single event that is put on by a human being. Okay. It's put on by a human. So it's not like it's an AI generated event and there's a bunch of robots like operating the event, right? It's an event put on by a human. So when you look at, so there's a couple scenarios. So there's a little bit of nuance in each point. So it's like point number 1, but okay, is you might have got invited by this event or invited to this event. So whether you got an email, you got a direct invite, a text message, a partial invite, you might have got a direct invite. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, within the first point, is maybe you saw it as a public event. So like there's times where it's on like city bulletin boards or city calendars or city event news blogs, right? Like it's just kind of like you didn't really get invited directly, but it's really like a city invitational. Okay. So either one, this works. Either one, this works. Okay. So say you want to go and you don't have anyone to go with, or maybe you just don't really want to go with anyone, right? Like maybe you're just like, I kind of would just love to just be able to go to this and not have to worry about anybody else. So what you do is you go to the event, you get, you know, whatever the attire is, you get dressed up, you go to the event, and no matter what, you're automatically not by yourself. I want to really emphasize that. No matter what you do, if you want to go to an event, you're never automatically by yourself. Here's why. The person that put on the event is the host. Okay, so the host is already under the impression that hopefully there's human beings coming to this event. Okay, there's not really like an expectation of, I hope that each person comes with another person, right? It's just more so they hope that human beings will come fill up the event, right? So there's that. So number 2 is when you go to the event and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm already getting anxiety, I'm by myself technically, just ask either the bartender, there's always going to be a bartender, okay, always going to be a bartender, or B, a security guard or some kind of staff member. Like you'll be able to tell who's working, even the host. Like so depending on the venue that you're going to, maybe there's a host, and you can just say, hey, either sometimes you have to check in. That's number 1. Number 2, sometimes you were invited and it's or it's public and you can just walk into the event. Either way, if you're like, you need something to do, like you just feel like, I don't know what to do, I just feel kind of lost, I want to act like I know what to do, just go and ask someone, hey, is so-and-so the host here? Is so-and-so the host here, right? Oh, so-and-so put on the event. Are they here? And 9 times out of 10, that host is probably running around. So they're not just like sitting there at the front available. So the person the higher probability is, oh yeah, they're here, but you know, they're helping out something, da, 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 or they're here, but whatever, right? Or they're here, do you want me to bring them to you? And it's like, oh no, I just wanted to see if they were here. Thank you. I'll find them. I'm going to go to the bar, but thank you. So that way, like at that moment, it really doesn't matter if you actually meet the host or you care to meet the host or whatever, which you should, why not, right? But especially, you know, they put in the effort to put on an event. But you're just, now it feels like, okay, I've talked to a human and there's other humans there. Like, you're not technically alone at an event. Now, this is really easy when you go to a conference, right? Because you just kind of check in and then you just sit down in a seat and then you're listening to a presenter. So in that instance, you should always go to those events, guys, because most of the time people are showing up by themselves to like a conference. But if it's like an event, a mixer, never feel like you're alone. Always know that a host would be happy to either A, sit you with other people that are also showed up by themselves, or B, they may say, oh, you know, you want to come sit at my table, or C, they might, you know, just say, hi, oh, nice to meet you, you know, you know, enjoy your time. And then at least there's like some kind of face that you got to meet, right? And, you know, that's when you can determine, okay, is this the kind of event that I want to go to? Like, they didn't really like care to meet me, even though I'm showing up and, you know, taking my time to show up to their event. Yes, they're putting it on, but they're also hoping that there's going to be guests at the event, right? So you can also judge to see if it's an event that you actually want to go to in the future, based on the behavior of the host, right? So I would say maybe 8 times out of 10, anytime I've shown up to an event by myself, I'm either A, seated with other people that have showed up by themselves, or B, people are like, oh, come sit with us. Like, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's human nature or the kind of events that I go to where it's never an issue if you're like showing up by yourself. If anything, people kind of admire that you're showing up by yourself. So never feel any kind of way. And if, you know, I'm really speaking to people that are, I mean, it could really be any age if you're an adult, but like, if someone literally makes fun of you that you showed up by yourself, you're just not at the right event. Like, you need to never go to that event again. Like, oh my God, you're like by yourself. Like, whoa, I could never do that. And it's like a 40-year-old talking to you saying that there's something is off, because at that point, when you're 35 and up, you should be at a point, or if you're not here yet, I'm here to help you. Really, you should be at a point where it's fine if you show up by yourself, because the thing is, life is happening. Like, your friends and your maybe you have family members that are like friends to you too. Not everyone's always going to be available. You know what I'm saying? Or people just don't want to go. Like, you get to a point where you're like, I am available and I just don't feel like being social. Like, I just want to stay home, right? Like, when you're younger, you can kind of convince your friends, like, oh, go out with me. Or, you know, I've been in both positions. I've been in positions where I'm just like, I do not feel like doing anything, but then I get kind of like coerced into it. And I've also been the friend where I'm like, come on, just go for an hour. Let's go. You know, it'll be fun. We can literally leave. Like, you know, like in the early 20s when you do stuff like that. But when you're in the mid 30s, nobody has time for that. Nobody has time for that. Okay. If you're 35 plus, you should be married with kids. So this applies to anyone that is either single or married, right? So like, there could be people that are wanting to, like, maybe they work in a certain industry, and there's like, they want to get more clients, right? Like, say if they're a realtor, or say if they are some kind of saleswoman or salesman, and they want to go to this event in order to get more networks, right? Like, be able to get more connections, maybe get more contacts, get potential clients, right? But you don't necessarily want to go by yourself. This is for those people. So it's really could technically be for anybody, right? But when you are in your mid 30s, you do not want to miss out on maybe potentially meeting your next big client, maybe meeting, getting an opportunity of a lifetime in the future. Maybe, you know, it could really be anything, just because you don't want to show up to an event solo. So this is for people that are really, these are for people that like want to have more of a social life, want to get more clients, want to go to high quality events, want to go to mixers, want to go to, networking events, want to go to a conference even, and they just don't know where they don't want to go unless they go with someone, right? So this is for that person. Okay. So that's number one. In that scenario. Another way that you could play it, if there's an event that you want to go to and you're like, man, I'm really trying to just kind of stretch myself. I'm trying to be more expansive. I'm trying to be more open-minded. I'm trying to put myself, trying to get out of my comfort zone. You can go to the event, and there's always, pretty much 99.9% of the time, there's always going to be some kind of bar. Not saying if you don't drink, even better, right? You can always go and just kind of stand and hover around the bar, like literally walk in. There's always going to be some kind of person that looks like they're working the event. Like you'll just be able to tell whether it's physically how they're dressed, or you'll just be able to kind of tell in like the person's stature. It's like, oh, can you direct me to the bar? It's like, oh yeah, it's right over here, right? Boom. Now as you're walking to the bar, you're kind of able to take it in. You're able to take in the scenery, the setup. You're able to take in, where if it's the type of an event where there's a DJ, you see where the DJ is. Like you're just kind of like taking in the event. And then when you go to the bar, comfortably, order yourself a mocktail, order yourself a nice refreshment, order yourself an alcoholic-free drink. A really good one, that's my go-to all the time, is ginger beer, which is, there's no alcohol in it at all, but it's really tasty and refreshing. And because of the fizziness, it helps you not drink it like super fast. So that's always a really good one if you're like, not really necessarily wanting to drink, but you want to order something that's like not water, right? So my go-to always, and you guys, nowadays they have non-alcoholic drinks. Like it's literally non-alcohol. Like it literally, I don't know how they do it, but it kind of has the feel and the taste of like something bitter, but it's not alcohol at all. So just for FYI, for those people that are, they don't care to drink, I'm not encouraging anybody to drink. It's just, the bar is always a really easy place to hover around. And if you want to act like you're doing something, you can always go and get a refreshment, right? So that's whatever number we're on. Okay. Always go to the bar, right? Now, if you're feeling a little extra, I don't know, thank you so much for floating heart. I appreciate you. So if you're feeling a little extra confident, if you're like really wanting to step outside of the box, you can just literally walk in and confidently stand by yourself. Like that scenario is allowed to exist. Confidently stand by yourself and kind of like look for an opportunity to naturally be able to talk to somebody, whether it's you're kind of hovering around the bar area. Now, if it's a kind of event where you can go and sit at like a high top, do that. Sit at a high top table. Sit in a stool, a high top bar stool, and you're kind of just taking the event in, drinking a nice refreshment. Maybe check your phone, kind of glance at your phone, but don't just be in your phone. Kind of glance at your phone, a little bit here and there, and you're kind of just like have this openness about your stature, about your presence, right? Like you have this like head up, shoulders back, not like crouched down. And then just literally when someone comes by, say, hi, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm I'm Ciana. What brings you to the event? That's always a really easy one. Like, what brings you to the event? Oh, I know the host. Oh, really? Awesome. What about you? I know the host too. Okay, cool. Where'd you meet the host at? And like, you kind of just into these like little chit chats, right? And you never know. Sometimes like that's happened to me where I went to go to this like watch party for who was it? It was when Mike Tyson and Jake Paul were fighting, and I was like, ooh, that would be like a fun, just like kind of a fun gathering to go to. But it was just me by myself. I knew the host, but I was going to be showing up by myself, like not with like a date or like any other girlfriends or anything. So when I went, I just had this open energy, and I was just confidently, look at the TV, just enjoying my time, drinking a refreshment, and just there. And and ended up, like, this girl was like kind of positioned by me, and she talked to me. She was like, because I also had this open energy, I wasn't like, I didn't have this like tight, frigid, you know, kind of like nobody talked to me energy. It was just kind of like, I looked joyful to be around. Like I had this like, yeah, I'm like open, you know, to talk. So she goes, hi, you know, or did you just get here? And I'm like, oh yeah. Or, oh no, I think she said like, what are you drinking? And I was like, oh, I'm drinking ginger beer or something. And she's like, oh, awesome, I'm drinking this. How do you know the host? Like, she just kind of brought up something, and then we ended up chit-chatting, and then come to find out, she ended up being Punjabi. Or I kind of could tell that she was Punjabi, but she said her name, and I'm like, you're Punjabi, aren't you? She goes, oh my gosh, how did you know that? She's like, no one ever knows. Or, and then I pronounced her name correctly, because her name was Preeti, like Preeti. But I also need to work on my Punjabi accent. But her name was like Preeti, but people pronounce her name Pretty. So I was like, oh, Preeti, like, you know, yeah, you're Punjabi, aren't you? And she's like, oh my gosh. And she's like, wait, are you Punjabi? And I'm like, I'm half Punjabi, half black. So then she was fascinated by that. So then, see what I'm saying? It's like we ended up getting into this whole like chit chat of a conversation just because I like had an open energy. So I live in Los Angeles, California. I live in Los Angeles, California. Anytime I glance down at the screen and read anything, it's because I'm stopped. So yeah, guys, those are like just some kind of like overview. There's always nuance every single time, you know, to every single scenario, personalities, city that you're living, safety, all that stuff. But what I wish someone would have told me in my 20s is to just kind of like be okay going to some of these high quality events, even when you don't have anyone to go with you. Like I have gotten so many amazing opportunities just by showing up somewhere by myself, believe it or not. Just by showing up somewhere solo dolo. Because you're almost kind of like forced into this like unique circumstance where you don't have a security blanket. You know, it's not like just the two of you, you and your friend, or you and your two friends far off in the corner staring at everybody, like looking scared. It's like you kind of, it forces you to get used to standing on your own 2 feet and able to like stand with confidence in a room and walk into a room. And like I said, the kind of events that I'm talking about are like right now. So I'm going to this masterclass kind of event. I'm going by myself. It's not like, oh my gosh, I can't go to this event because I don't have anyone to go with. It's like, I'm going to learn and get information, right? So like master classes, masterminds, mixers, networking events. Sometimes it could be like a pre-event to something. Like it could be like maybe there's an event tonight, like late tonight, like at 10, but then there's like a pre-mixer to it, and that starts at like 5:30. A post event, so like say if there was a conference, but then there's like a post mixer event to the conference, right? Like, so I'm talking about quality events where you either learn something, you're mixing, you're mingling, you're exchanging information, you're wanting to network, right? I'm talking about those kind of events. And I have just never encountered a moment where I'm like, dang, why did I show up here by myself, or everyone's making fun of me? It's like, then you're not at an adult event. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's not what I'm referring to then. Now, if you're showing up to a club completely, like I'm talking to like a straight up rap hip hop club by yourself, you're showing up by yourself, you're trying to get into the club by yourself, you could still do that technically, but like, yeah, in that instance, it's kind of like, wow, like, you know, you're really wanting to party, you know what I'm saying? But there's some people that do that too. Don't get it twisted. There's some people that do that too. I wouldn't necessarily encourage that for like a young woman to be out doing that, because then you could definitely get like taken advantage of, and someone could put something in your drink and all that stuff. I'm not talking about a club where you're out till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about moments and opportunities where you might miss out on a really, really cool opportunity just because you don't want to show up to this like art show by yourself, or this display show. Or I used to work these events for luxury car brands, and it would be like a reveal, like it'd be like a new luxury car model reveal, and you meet really, really awesome people at these events. And it's like, just because you didn't have someone to go with, like you missed out, you know what I'm saying? But you really wanted to go, but maybe like someone you wanted to go with backed out, or, you know, maybe there's also this scenario too, where maybe you're just trying to switch up your environment. Like you're trying to go to different types of environments. Like you're not trying to always hang out at the bar all the time in your free time. You're trying to like cultivate a new social life, but you don't really have like a friendship group yet that like also likes to do that too. Again, because it's very nuanced. Either A, they've gotten a relationship, they're married now, or B, the people that you're hanging out with just only like to party, you know? And you're kind of like, I want to go to like different classier events. Like I'm spending more years on the planet. Like I'm not like in my 20s anymore. I'm like 32, 33, 34, 35. And I want to like go to different quality environment, different areas where like it's elevated, different event spaces where it's elevated, right? But you don't really quite have like the friendship group yet. Just go by yourself. Go by yourself. And like I said, there's always a host. These events are not put on by robots. There's always, and to be honest, most of the time there's usually two or three hosts. And out of all the hosts, typically they're happy that you're there, and they're like, oh, well, why don't you go over here? Or why don't I introduce you to so-and-so? Or because the purpose of these events, guys, is for people to meet people. It's not for people to stand by themselves in the corner. Now you can do that. You're allowed to do that, of course, but a good host is going to notice that you're by yourself, or be happy that you showed up by yourself, and want to place you with people, right? And then also too, guys, sometimes there's just moments where there's just going to be moments where it's okay to like not feel like you have to like look like you know someone. Like you can just be. Now that's another level, but that's kind of where I'm at now. Like I don't care if someone can tell that I showed up by myself or not. Before when I used to do this on my own, where I would get invited to an event and I'm like, I don't have anyone to go with, or you know, maybe I just want to go by myself, but I'm like kind of nervous to go by myself, but I kind of want to go by myself to meet new people or whatever. And like that was my go-to. I would just walk straight to the bar and like kind of like chit chat with the bartender, you know? Sometimes I've even showed up to events a little early, like not like super like cringy early, like where like they're setting up. That's ridiculous. But you know, like, okay, say the event starts at 4:30. I'll show up at like 4:40. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, people start to trickle in around 30 minutes into the event. I'll like actually show up on time, right? Like where it's, you know, say it's like a mixer event and it's from 4:30 to 8:30 or something like that, right? I'll actually show up a little on the earlier side, knowing that people won't really get there till around 6. But by that time, I've already like kind of gotten comfortable with the environment. So then that way, when people are showing up, it's like I'm already settled. You know what I'm saying? Or it's the other way around. Sometimes I've showed up late on purpose, like extra late, where it's like the event is already so busy that no one's even going to really notice if I'm there by myself or not, just because everyone is already mixing and mingling so much at that point that I just kind of am blending into the networking energy. You know what I'm saying? So bottom line is, guys, like I wish, like I moved to LA when I was I was born out here, moved back after I graduated college. And in my 20s, you know, me and my friends always would just go to the same places all the time. We always, I mean, when I was 22 years old, we were always going to the same places, whether it was a club or whether it was like a happy hour that everybody went to, you know, like it was just the same 3 to 4 places. Like, and I wish that I wish I had like a big sister or like a auntie, like a cool auntie or someone